The past few days have seen a curious spate of visits to one man who has been described as the most prominent political figure in northern Nigeria. I'm talking about former President Muhammadu Buhari, whose Kaduna residence has turned into some sort of Mecca, with politicians from the main and opposition parties trooping to his residence to pay him a visit. Now, those visits have caused quite a stir in the political conversation, particularly as we build up to the 2027 elections. And one of the men who visited the former president joins us today on Political Paradigm. We have joining us Senator Ajibola Basiru, who is the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, APC. He joins us live from Osun State. Senator Basiru, you're welcome to Political Paradigm.
Good afternoon, Kyle. How are you doing?
Well, I'm well. Just to get your opening comments, because I know your party, the APC, has also been watching what is unfolding in Plateau State. What is a statement from your party? What is a reaction? Because this is a national issue, never mind that it's happening on the Plateau alone.
I think our political party join other well-meaning Nigerians to condemn the mindless violence that is happening in the Plateau State, and they're coming in a way that appear to be persistent, appear to be organized, makes it to be very, worrisome. While we salute the Nigerian security operatives for moving in swiftly when the first attack, occur, it's quite, worrisome that a week after the military and other security operatives are moving, there was yet another attack on the hapless citizen of that state. So we want to enjoin our people to be watchful, be vigilant, and also support the security operatives with the necessary intelligence to know strange movement so that this can be nipped in the bud.
All right, Senator. Well, we have a full segment for this further down on the show, but let's talk to the recent happenings with your party. What is this sudden rush for former President Muhammadu Buhari? What is it about? Are you, one, worried that he and President Tinubu have had a falling out that may cost him his re-election bid? What exactly is this about, Senator?
As far as I'm concerned, on the part of the All Progressives Congress, there was nothing unusual visiting the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. As you know, he's one of the founding fathers of our party. And of course, somebody who served full term of 2 terms as president on the platform of our party, and also was able to lead the party to victory in the 2023 election. And last year, we also paid same salah homage to President Buhari. And of course, after we were sworn in, myself and Dr. Abdullahi Umaru Ganduje, the national chairman, we equally visited our national leader to brief him as to what we are doing in the party. So our own visit is unusual. Perhaps the unusual visit is about strange political bedfellows who have said that they are going to pay salah homage to President Muhammadu Buhari. And during our visit, which we had scheduled before we even learned that those elements visited him, we briefed him as to what we have been doing in our party and what we are doing in terms of strengthening our party. But before I go into that, it's quite important to get it right that it would be wrong for anybody that there's any estranged relationship between the former president and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the two evidence will go to that. When somebody claimed that he briefed President Muhammadu Buhari before he joined the party that he joined, and President Muhammadu Buhari swiftly said that he's still in the APC and he will be proud to be referred to as an APC member. And secondly, you also see the equally commending and the warm birthday message from President Buhari to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even saying that President Bola Tinubu is a serial election winner who had been his partner in the process of unification of Nigeria. So there is no outer of truth to say that there's any estranged relationship between the former president and President Bola Tinubu. And as to our visit, yes, we paid postala homage. We also briefed the former president as to what our party has been doing in terms of setting up the Progressive Institute, which is the ideological arm of our party, aimed to train and retrain politicians and young politicians in the heart of reorientating our politics towards ideological politics. We also briefed him about the ongoing e-registration of members, by which we aim to digitalize our membership register and having a credible register of our political party, and of course the outcome of our NEC and caucus meeting. Those were the highlights of our visit to the former President Muhammadu Buhari, and it has something to do with our party being what you did. Somebody said it, being jittery. How can we be jittery about people who don't even have any political base, who are largely internally displaced politicians in their domain?
Well, Senator Basiru, that visit came days after the Eid celebration. But just to be clear, this is the same former President Muhammadu Buhari that handed over what's been described as an economy about to collapse. In fact, in the words of President Tinubu himself, he said Nigeria would have been bankrupt if we had not taken the actions that we took. We had to prevent the economy's collapse. That's the measures he took immediately he came into office. Add to that, Senator Basiru, the ongoing probe of 30 trillion ways and means advances to the Buhari administration that was obtained by the CBN under the leadership of Godwin Emefiele. So what is the wisdom, really, in still tagging along when it's been said time and again that what he handed over to President Tinubu was not the very best at all?
In the same political party, Kayode, the APC is still the APC, and of course, the virtue of any political party and any administration is to be able to look back, make necessary criticism, and of course, forge ahead in that regard. And I want to clearly state that nobody is probing President Muhammadu Buhari or his administration per se. But if there were misfeasance by certain actors, in any event, the CBN ought to be a semi-autonomous, if not totally autonomous, entity to drive the economy. So if there were misdemeanor or misfeasance on the part of the former CBN governor, I don't see why that should be put at the doorstep of President Muhammadu Buhari, or to say it's a probe of former President Muhammadu Buhari, and also the question of the state of the economy. Some of us have always been of the opinion, even before President Bola Tinubu took over, that there have been some problems that needed to be addressed in the Nigerian economy. And if you go back, even the first comment I made as a senator in 2020 at the floor of the Senate in 2020, I made it clear that Nigeria cannot continue to be a debtor country, because we largely have been supporting our economy on the basis of subsidy of the naira and subsidy of petrol. And then we go cap in hand to even be able to fund the necessary component of our budget. So if the present administration is trying to correct the imbalances in the economy, it is not to say that there's a disconnect between former President Buhari and President Bola Tinubu. We have to do humongous amount will apply to ordinary Nigerians who just run their lifestyle based on watching television, using electricity, and possibly when there is heat, using air condition.
Senator Basiru, when you say go to the streets, I wonder how in touch you are, particularly with this energy situation. And I'm staying with the power sector, because you said that you were going to review the ministers. And I've just given you an example of the deputy governor. But this is why he made that statement. He said if that's his own reality, he wonders how the everyday Nigerian is getting by, particularly the ones who have been put in Band A, for example, who, as I said earlier on, are not getting as much power supply in spite of the fact that they are paying that much. And I hope you've been in touch. You'll have seen reactions online. You've heard people say, I'm spending at least 20,000. Pardon me, I'm spending 20,000 on electricity for a few days.
And I'm interfacing.
So that is an indices I want you to speak to.
You can't use an indices. You are talking of a deputy governor.
No, I'm not. I don't know the size of his house. I'm saying that for the average Nigerian, yes, are spending 20,000 naira in a few days.
Pardon?
The average Nigerian is spending at least 20,000 naira for electricity in barely days, and it's gone. That's what I'm saying. So imagine you're earning 70,000 naira minimum wage.
Please,
your salary is gone in a few days. Yeah.
Energy is not cheap anywhere in the world. We should not turn. Nigeria is not running a socialist society. Let us get it. I'm very right. And go to everywhere in the world. You must be able to. We are in a globalized economy. It is not about the cost. Yes, I agree with you that much needs to be done to ensure efficiency in the energy sector, to ensure increased access in the energy sector. But you cannot pigeonhole to say people spend 20,000 in a matter of days or so. What is the cost of generating? What is the cost of transmission? What is the cost of distribution? We should be run on the basis of economic efficiency so that the cost of production of the energy itself must be recovered. And then they must also be able to make profit. We are not running a socialist economy. We should get it right. So I agree with you. There's still much to be done in terms of access, in terms of increased period to access electricity. But to talk about the cost of electricity, it has to be operated on the market principle. This is not a socialist society, it's a capitalist society, free market economy. And if companies cannot break through in terms of their costs of production, making energy accessible to Nigeria, then we will not be able to operate.
Right. Senator, there's still a couple of issues to raise with you. One wonders, how will the poor breathe this way if the poor is having to pay that much for power, which is very vital, right, to their businesses, to their lifestyle? There's also the defense bit. Clearly, we can't go through all of the ministries, but it's defense. Seeing the attacks in Plateau State, the series of attacks, the Eid killings in Sokoto, someone just said, I want to slaughter people, just like that. And for a while now, these bandits and terrorists have remained elusive, wreaking havoc. So some have called for a change in that regard, but it will be interesting to see what the rating of your party will be for the ministers. When is that coming out, Senator?
I think after Easter break, we're going to sit down with the Minister of Information and the special advisors to the President on information and have a schedule of how we'll be engaging the ministers and, of course, head of agencies in making an assessment of what they have been able to do, challenges they are facing, and, of course, projection they make in that regard. And that's because we see ourselves as a political party, and we must take ownership of what we are doing. And to talk about what you mentioned about security, quite unfortunate, but you must make a distinction between act of terrorism and banditry, which is not a conventional warfare. And you should know that the operating principles for terrorists and bandits is to look at the weakest link in being able to make an attack and look at the most vulnerable aspect to be able to do so. And even in advanced society, you cannot eradicate totally incident on violence crime. What you can do is to reduce it by increasing intelligence, increasing access to resources to be able to combat insecurity. And in this regard, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is doing much. It's always Senator, good, yes,
Senator,
to take on those areas that we have not been able to cover, but we must also advert you to those areas we are able to achieve in the area of security. Today now, the insecurity in southern Kaduna and in Kaduna State have been largely addressed, and the Kaduna to Abuja, Kaduna, Kano Road are now being made safe for road commuters. This is part of the salutary effort that have been made in the area of security by Nigerian security agencies under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The guiding principle, as you said, for governance this time around is to ensure the security and welfare of its citizens, whether it's asymmetric warfare, terrorism, ensure they're safe. But we need to talk about you, Senator Basiru. Yes, you're the National Secretary of the APC, but you also have some things in the works. Yes, you were recently appointed the chair of the Governing Council of National Sugar Development Council. But I saw a post on X, Senator, which I want you to speak to. This user on X says, Osun State needs a vibrant, intelligent, and progressive-minded professional who can move the state forward as from November the 27th, 2026. And the person ends by saying, Senator Ajibola Basiru is the answer. Do you agree?
I think I'll first thank the person making that post. I don't know who the person is, but the state of our state today actually needs a radical transformation as to leadership. I watched a video last week, or was it last week, of the governor of our state that cannot even read a prepared statement at a so-called investment summit in the United Kingdom. Is that the kind of governance that we want for our people in Osun?
And this is about you. Do you agree
myself,
with the person?
I think I would say at the list of signing immodest, I'm eminently qualified to aspire to be the governor of Osun State. I've served the state in three capacities, as Commissioner for Special Duty, Attorney General, and Commissioner for Justice. I've also represented Osun Central Senatorial District in the 9th Senate, where I served as the spokesperson of the Senate. As today, I'm one of the leading bureaucrats of the political party, of the ruling party in Nigeria today. And I believe that when the time comes, with consultation with the leaders of our party, and of course the members of our party, we may be throwing the axe in the ring for a contest for the leadership of the state, because our state needs to be rescued and then be able to be repositioned on the path of development and productivity.
So you want to run against former Governor Gboyega Oyetola? That's what you're saying?
The Oyetola has not said he's running for governorship, and I've also not said I'm running. But I'm saying that when the times come, I may be putting my heart in the ring in that regard. And our party is a part of leadership. The leaders of our party, they have a large dose of input as to who gets the ticket of our party. Of course, Senator, I must put this, I'm never desperate for any position in politics.
But with politicians, never say never. Senator Ajibola Basiru, National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Kayode, for having me.